Yes! No! Checkmate.
Hello, welcome back to the Free Game Podcast. My name is Justin. I'm here with my co-host Holden.
Hello, welcome back
your
to
one-stop shop for all things budget gaming.
Dude, you always do that, dude. So you
No, I don't.
starting off so strong. You go, hello, welcome back to the Free Game Podcast. My name is Justin. I'm here with my co-host Holden, and then I say hello, and then I go to say something else, and you just immediately start talking. Yeah, dude.
I'm pretty excited right now.
I'm very excited
Because this episode has been a long time coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a big fan of Ed, and Eddy.
Okay.
And I'm stopping there. That's the sentence.
Okay,
I'm such a big fan of Ed, and Eddy, period. Right?
Yeah.
Because today we're talking about a little thing that happens to be a PS2 game called Ed, and Eddy, the Mis-Edventures.
The Mis-Edventures.
Yes. Play on words.
Yeah, it's a pun.
So today we're going to get a little bit into the lore of Ed, and Eddy, and then we'll get into the game.
Go ahead.
Did you ever watch Ed, and Eddy?
So I watched it. Mm-hmm. My brother was a lot more into it than I was.
Yeah.
He was kind of in the right age range. Uh-huh. I went to like a daycare, and they didn't let us watch that show.
Okay.
Because they were like too mean to each other.
Oh.
Like the Eds were.
Yeah.
I know all the characters. Like I know who Double D is. I know who Ed is. I know who Eddy is. And I knew that before I started playing the game.
Uh-huh.
I know that they love Jawbreakers. I know about, like the cul-de-sac. I know about like Plank. So like I know some of the stuff. But like growing up, I was more of like a SpongeBob kind of guy.
Oh.
Like way more.
Yeah.
Like SpongeBob was kind of just like my thing. Like, and it still is. I love SpongeBob. It's so good. But yeah, I remember the art kind of being like a little scary to me as a kid. I remember I just hated
Like
the
Ed,
Canker
and Eddy?
sisters. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it can be. It's well, there's actually a reason for that. So
For the art?
Well, the reason why it's a little bit like off-putting sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that because I recently moved into a house.
Yeah.
It's like having another full-time job, essentially. So I haven't had any time to prepare for this episode other than having played and beat the Mis-Edventures, which we both did.
Yeah,
that was a while ago for me.
Yeah,
right?
That was a while ago for me, too.
And
about a month ago for me.
Yeah.
No, a couple weeks. Anyway, go on.
So I'm literally just going to read some Wikipedia stuff.
Go ahead.
So the creator of Ed, and Eddy his name is Danny Antonucci.
Okay.
He's a Canadian animator, director, producer, and writer. Anyway, he's known for Ed, and Eddy. He created, I don't know what these are, but Lupo the Butcher, Cartoon Sushi, and The Brothers Grunt. I think he's more known as like kind of an adult cartoonist.
Oh, okay.
Not because apparently he created Ed, and Eddy when someone like kind of dared him to try to make a kid's show.
Got it.
It says adult cartoonist. I don't really know what that means, but that's what it says about him.
Probably like Adult Swim or something.
Yeah, something like that. Valjean was allowed back down here. Hey, buddy. So he's here for again.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just trying to find the. Okay, so I think Ed, and Eddy ran from 1999
Okay.
to November of 2009.
Okay.
And then I guess he's in here. Where is he? Is he under the table? He's just looking at you.
Yeah.
Valjean, you gotta be cool with hanging out with mom, So, Dr. Antonucci. I don't think he's a doctor, but
Okay, but we're just calling him that.
yeah. I think he originally pitched it to Nickelodeon, but I think they didn't want him to have creative control, so he wanted creative control.
So he went over
pitched
to
it
Cartoon
Network. They made a deal.
Got it.
So yes, premiered on January 4th, 1999, which is probably why I loved it as a kid, because that was just, I mean, I would have only been about to turn 2, so.
Jeez.
But like that runtime, right? Just childhood. And then my brother, I have a couple older brothers, so like, anyway, it says the series concluded with a film at Ed, and Eddy's Big Picture Show on November 8th, 2009. Oh, I remember that. I know what that is.
I'm looking it up.
Oh, that was so good. Dude, Just great. Anyway, so.
Oh, I don't have Wi-Fi on this computer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do not have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, what the heck? With a 10-year run, Ed, Edd n Eddy is the longest-running Cartoon Network original series.
What?
Apparently.
Dude, cartoons just don't go on that long.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But also, I mean, like, SpongeBob still going, right?
No.
No?
I think it might be over. I don't know. I don't know much about SpongeBob anymore. I kind of like, basically after like season 3, I kind of petered off of SpongeBob. They kind of lost it.
Yeah.
Lost its sheen. But anyway, so Sheen, Jimmy Neutron, great show. So okay, we had an episode called "What's in the Box." You probably haven't listened to it because it has low.
Yeah, but you should, man.
Yeah, it's a good episode. Okay, give it a try.
If you like games and old games,
yeah, it's a blast from the past. Basically, we each got a box from people in our lives,
totally
just full of
scenarios.
yeah, and just for some reason
timing.
they intersected.
Yeah.
With just kind of like gaming stuff, because people know that we like games for very, very cheap prices. Mine was free. Yours was like $50 or something. And so we just went through them and kind of talked about what we got in the box, like what's in the box, right? So then one of the games that you got was this game,
yes.
Ed, Edd n Eddy, the Mis-Edventures.
And I also got a PS2.
And there was so many good games that you got.
Yeah.
So many good games. And this was the one that you chose.
This was what I was the most excited for because I love Ed n Eddy
and you
so
know,
much.
like there was a couple times, and like now looking back on it, it was a little silly, but there was a couple times when I was playing the game and I was like, of course this is how Justin is. Of course he would make me play this game.
Yeah.
Like why couldn't you just choose a good game?
And we'll get into that. So I just learned there's 3 other video games that have been based off of Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Yeah, there was one for the Game Boy, right?
Yeah, Game Boy Advance. It's called Ed, Edd n Eddy Jawbreakers.
Okay.
There's another. Oh, there's a mobile game called Ed, Edd n Eddy Giant Jawbreakers. Ed, Edd n Eddy The Mis-Edventures was released in 2005 for the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. Oh, and Game Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, and PC. Oh, the most recent one from 2007, a little bit newer.
Okay.
By like a year. Ed, Edd n Eddy Scam of the Century.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that one because I looked up.
That's for the DS.
Oh.
We should do that one.
Maybe not, right? Because this was. Yeah. So okay. So you played the game first.
I played the game first.
You beat it, and you were if I'm honest, very misleading about the game. Yeah, because you told me like, oh yeah, dude, you could beat it in like an afternoon. There's no possible way I could have done that. Like, yes, there's only 6 scams, but like each one of them took me hours, dude.
Yeah.
Hours. So this game, I'm not trying to like hijack your special moment here.
Let me just introduce it just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, a 3D platform video game, right, based on Ed, Edd n Eddy. It's very much tethered to what Ed, Edd n Eddy is. There's even little cutscenes that are animated in the same style.
Yeah, they don't look great. For some
reason, there's the gameplay itself, and there's random cutscenes that are in the 3D animation style of the game instead of the 2D animation of the series.
Yeah.
And it looks so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, this game,
graphics.
Yeah.
But the game's plot is just based around 6 different scams. They're called scams. Because obviously
the levels.
These guys are always trying to get jawbreakers.
Yeah, they're trying to scam people for money so that they can get jawbreakers.
Yeah. So you can kind of just, I think you can play scams as much as you want. You know, you go through it, you try to find like the special thing or whatever, like find a jawbreaker in the corner or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I didn't repeat a scam at all because.
Yeah, dude. The thing that kind of like annoyed. Sorry, I bumped the table there. The thing that really annoyed me about this game was that like the jawbreakers were so inconsequential. Yeah. Like you're just walking through the level and it's like, oh, there's a jawbreaker there. I'm like, what are we doing these scams for? If I can just find a jawbreaker in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're just like jawbreaker. Oh, cool, jawbreakers.
Yeah, it just goes to a little counter of how many jawbreakers you found. Yeah. No, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
so
was I really that misleading? Oh yeah, because
Yeah, dude, you gave it to me and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try and beat it tonight. And you were like, yeah, dude, you could probably just beat it tonight. It took me like 2 weeks to beat this game. And that sounds like, oh, only 2 weeks. That's not that bad. There's 6 levels in the entire game.
Yeah,
Total. And
2 weeks.
if like this is one of those things where it was a bad experience, but I want everybody to have shared this experience with me. I want everybody to have played this game. Yes, dude, because it's like people take advantage of good games.
Of good
game design and
IP. How about that? Wait.
I'm saying like people don't understand what makes a game good and what makes a game bad until you've played a really, really bad game. And then you just like appreciate life so much more. You know? Yeah, you take it for granted. That's what I meant. I didn't mean take advantage.
I thought you were going to say people take advantage of like IP, like Ed and Eddy as a series.
This was just a cash grab.
Yeah, and so they were like, if we make video games, and they're right. Yeah. And the video game doesn't need to be high quality for people to buy it.
Yeah, I don't know how much this game costs. I don't know. If it's really expensive, don't buy it. Just don't buy it. Don't buy the game.
I'm going to look it up.
It's here.
So, oh god, dude. I want to tell you a little bit about like what it took to actually be able to play this game.
Okay.
No way, dude. $50 on Amazon.
$50?
There's no way that's real, dude. eBay. Okay, so eBay, it's like as little as like $7.
Okay, yeah. So this game,
fair.
Yeah,
it's very fair.
So when would you like me? Okay, so do you have notes?
Yeah, I have notes. I want to talk about something before we get into the actual gameplay.
Okay.
So, at the same time around, so Malin and I got this free TV from Malin's cousin, and I just had it leaning up against her desk in the apartment.
Yeah.
And dude, it was actually kind of fun to try to like, it just brought back so many memories of hooking up the component cables, like the red, white, and yellow. Yeah. Especially because it was a newer TV, so like it wasn't as straightforward as it used to be. Mm-hmm. And then the game was in black and white, so I had to like find a different hole because there were all these different things. Yeah. Anyway, and also I got a bunch of controllers in the What's in the Box episode, and I had to just try out like 4 or 5 of them. There was the only one. Okay, I think you and I. This says a lot about the game, but I think we were both playing with a controller that was like faulty a little bit, and we didn't even notice.
Yeah, how bad the game
is. That says a lot about the game.
Yeah. It wasn't until I started playing the next game that we're doing on PS2 that I was like, oh, this controller feels wrong.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And that was the controller that I gave you, that I used, is, of course, the one that just had, like, sticky spots and battery acid or something on it. And I had to clean it a bunch. Oh. The other ones just outright didn't work.
Yeah.
And I went through a bunch of controllers. We're going to need to go through more, too. So this was my first impression with the game. This is what I wrote down. This game is awesome. The voices, the dialogue, the schemes, it's all just Ed and Eddy through and through.
You wrote that down?
That was probably before I even had finished one scam.
Oh my god. Do you want to know what my first...
Yes.
Okay, I said, this game is horrible. That was my first thing that I said. Okay. The sounds are abhorrent. Mm-hmm. The graphics are abysmal.
Yes.
What is up with the squirrels, dude?
Yeah, the squirrels. I don't even know where to start, dude. Okay.
I really don't. So, do you have like a list of what the scams are?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I didn't write that stuff down.
We're gonna go through each of them, but I want you to just describe what the gameplay is, because I think when you start, you do a little introductory level that shows you how to play and stuff.
It doesn't show you how to play. It just says, move with this stick.
It allows you to learn how to play. And then you go into the 6 games.
So, yeah, this game starts out with, like, some sort of cutscene of, like, them trying to do something, right? They're trying to steal money
from Jimmy or something.
So then the game loads up. Uh-huh. It says, move with your left analog stick, get 5 ice cubes.
Yep.
That's all it says.
Yep.
Doesn't tell you where the ice cubes are. Doesn't tell you what ice cubes look like.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you anything.
How to get them.
How to get them. Nothing. Okay. So you're in a backyard. You're fenced off. You're in a fenced off backyard. And so in this game you are all three of them.
Yes.
So you control one of them as like your leader, and you can cycle between which one is going to lead the party, and that has its own
They each have their own abilities.
special abilities and all that stuff, which it tells you how to do them. But dude, I have so many, like, the game is my biggest beef moment. Okay? Like we're not going to talk about biggest beef moment. This entire episode is just going to be ranting, kind of.
Yeah.
This is a bad game.
Okay.
Okay? Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for agreeing with me.
It hurts, but I agree.
Yeah. So, but I will say, you know what? No, let's get into it. So, you're walking around this area, and there are like doors everywhere, and you don't know which ones take you to other rooms and which ones don't take you to other rooms. There's nothing that would tell you that.
No.
There's nothing that there's no objective point. There's nothing that has like a glowing light above it that you're like, oh, I need to go here.
You just know. Are you just talking about the first or overall?
Overall.
Yeah, it's just like it just has a cutscene that sets up like, oh, they're trying to get to this party they weren't invited to, and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you like.
Well, that's for the second scheme.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying like that's an example of like it literally just says like there is a something happening, and that's why you're doing
whatever
what you're doing,
it is you're doing.
It doesn't go into how to do that. Or
so you're walking around this backyard, right? And dude, I don't even know how to like really people will understand what it's like. The graphics are really, 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 really bad. And there's nothing that is guiding you. Right? Because the set pieces that are movable look exactly the same as everything else.
Yes.
Okay? You're walking through this backyard, and it'll just say things like, use Battered to break down the wall. And you know exactly as much as we did when we first started playing this game.
Yes.
Right? And it kind of shows red, but you don't know what you need to use it against because there's just like, it's like to break the log wall. And there's an entire wall of logs, and there's one little area that you need to hit to break through it. Okay? And I will say that after playing the game for many hours, you start to understand the matrix of things. But if they were to just walk you through it, you would understand it so much better.
Yeah. The reason they don't walk you through it is because it would turn into like you'd finish the game in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because it's not the things that make it hard aren't the like I don't know how to explain this. The things that make the game hard are just because of it's a terrible like you don't have any control over anything really. Like those are the hardest things. But like the quote unquote puzzle aspect of each scheme and all this stuff isn't difficult.
No, it's so
you
basic.
Just don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just spending time finding out what to do. If it told you what to do, the game would be over like that.
And also, dude, something that made me so angry once I finally like kind of realized what the problem is. So there's this thing that's pretty frustrating in Donkey Kong 64. Okay. Really good game. But there's this thing where you have to collect bananas. Okay, bananas are the collectible item in Donkey Kong 64.
Of course.
And each banana, they're different colors based on which monkey you need to be controlling at that time. Because it's kind of a similar game where you're controlling a bunch of different characters. But in order to change characters, you have to go and find a barrel. And so like you can't just change characters whenever you want. So you'll do all this exploration, get to this point, and see a bunch of red bananas, and you're like, bro, I have to be Diddy Kong. I have to go all the way back to a barrel and become Diddy Kong, and then come all the way back here to get these bananas. Okay, that's frustrating, right?
Okay. Yes.
Now imagine if the bananas only showed up if you were Diddy Kong. That's how I feel playing this game.
That's very true, man.
Because you're walking around trying to figure out what the heck to do.
Yeah.
And nothing is telling you what it is. Items will glow. So like if you're
Yellow
playing as
or green.
Ed,
Yeah, let's introduce the characters.
Yeah.
Because that will help drive home what you're saying.
Yeah. And let's just talk about each of their abilities.
Yeah,
let's go through it.
So Ed, and Eddy. Obviously, they're all named Edward, technically, right?
Yeah.
But Ed, E-D, it's E-D, E-D-D, E-D-D-Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ed.
Well,
let's start with Eddy, because he's like the leader, basically.
Eddy is kind of the leader. He's the one that gets these other two guys in on his schemes. He's the
short pink one.
He's the short
with the yellow
pink
shirt.
one with the yellow shirt and like 4 hairs.
Yeah.
And he's the most morally reprehensible. Right?
Yes.
He's very he's just trying to get money and jawbreakers. He doesn't care who,
Yeah. And he's just a troublemaker.
Yeah. And so he's Eddy.
Then
his abilities in game are
Tower of Eddy.
He climbs on their shoulders.
Like imagine like a bunch of kids on each other's shoulders with a trench coat around them trying to pretend to be an adult, but there's no trench coat.
Right.
So like
it's just
a stack of them.
Yeah.
And he can reach things that are higher. And also with the Tower of Eddy, you can walk, can you? But you're supposed to be able to walk over really thin,
narrow planes.
Yeah, narrow planks,
bridges.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
So that's
because
his
if you
ability.
don't, then the other characters will fall, and then you'll lose.
You'll all fall and lose.
Yeah.
He can also grab things from high places that you need, and you can't put them back down. You have to take them all the way to where they need to go.
Yeah.
You can't dismount and still have the item.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Double D is the middle one. EDD. He's the smart one of the group.
Yeah. He's the nerd. He's the one that I always thought was a girl.
Weird sock hat.
Yeah.
He's kind of like
got
the
a red
frail,
shirt.
nerdy one.
Yeah. He's a germaphobe.
Yes.
Does he say, "Ooh, this could work"?
Yeah.
Or intriguing. Every single time, dude. So his thing is that he's like the trinket master.
Yes.
So when you're walking around and something glows orange, then you can use him, and he like unlocks doors. He
solves like keypads.
Yeah.
Stuff like
he
that.
moves. That's something that he does.
Yeah, because obviously.
Yeah. That's like kind of his thing. He's like the smart one.
He's the tech guy.
His special ability, he's actually like really useful.
Yeah.
So first of all, Eddy is the least useful character.
What's Eddy's other thing? Oh, he throws stink bombs that like stun enemies.
Never used the stink bombs.
They don't.
So then Double D, his thing is that he has a slingshot with water balloons, and you use that to like hit targets to like drop bridges and stuff.
Yeah, knock down stuff, kill enemies.
I never used it.
I think
to
you
kill
have to use like
far away.
7 to kill even the smallest one.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it.
And then there's Ed, which was always my favorite growing up.
Ed is the really.
Yeah, I love
he's
Ed.
so funny. Dudude.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's like.
I am a woodpecker,
Lenny,
except for dirt.
Yeah.
He says
What's
that
the
all
guy's
the time.
name? Lenny of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
I know that's
Sad.
Ed. It doesn't outright say he has any mental disability,
but he's just kind of dumb. He's big.
He's crazy strong. He has no comprehension of
anything. He wears sandals.
He's in a big green
jacket.
Overcoat thing.
Yeah, and his thing is out and out the most useful thing in the whole game.
Both of his abilities.
Yeah.
Because the batter Ed, which you mentioned, is where they line up behind him and he runs full speed and he can break through stuff.
Yeah, and there's this music that plays every time that he does it, and it's like a 5-second clip. It goes
over and over. Yeah, it's literally like 3 seconds repeated.
We'll get into that later because there's a certain thing that we both know what we're talking about.
You have nightmares about it?
Oh, dude.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So his other ability is he can pick items up.
And throw them.
Which
is so important.
Yes. He's the most useful.
Yeah. So now that we have all that down.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in a backyard. Okay. Let's use a different video game so that I can kind of like try and give an example. We've talked a lot about Breath of the Wild, so let's use Breath of the Wild for example.
Okay.
Let's say that you start up a game of Breath of the Wild. It doesn't tell you. It tells you basically how to move, and that's it. And then there's a guy, not even a guy. There's just like an overarching intelligence that is telling you, get me 5 Korok seeds. You don't know what Koroks are. You don't know how to get Korok seeds, but you got to do it. Okay. So that's kind of like what the idea is. And imagine that
Maybe
everything...
it shows you a picture of what a core exceed is.
Maybe. So then now imagine that you have a certain place that you're trying to get to. It says like, get to the grocery store. You don't know where the grocery store is. You don't know like what you need to do to get there. You're just kind of walking around trying to figure this out. And the thing that's going to show you what to do is going to glow a color that tells you which character can work with that. Only if you're controlling that character.
Yes.
Which is the most asinine thing.
Yeah.
Dude, when I found that out, that sent me over the edge, because there was this one thing where you're walking around in this backyard and you need to knock over like a tool wall, which makes no sense. I don't know why it's in the middle of the backyard. There's like this
like
wall.
An A-frame thing?
No, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. You know, it's like a pegboard. It was like a pegboard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Literally in the middle of
someone's backyard.
Of somebody's backyard that you're in for some reason. And you needed to hit it with batter red. Now I know that because I did it, right? It doesn't tell you how to do it. It just says, get out of the backyard. You don't know how to do it. And also, this entire time, there are squirrels running around to where if they attack you, they latch onto you, slowly leech your HP, and you have to jump to get them off of you.
And then you have to hit them and kill them.
To stun. Sometimes they don't die.
Yes.
Sometimes they die. Sometimes they don't die. You don't know what enemies are going to die and which ones are just going to be stunned.
And also,
for
it's very hard to see them because the graphics are so bad.
Yeah, dude.
They're just, like...
But no matter where they are, you can hear their sounds, which are just like this scuttering sound. Yeah. I was like, what is this? It sounds like...
endless, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody wearing like wooden shoes, like slipping on it. Yeah, it's the weirdest
it's like
sound.
An old creaky door.
Yeah.
So I'll say this too. The setting for this game is the cul-de-sac from the TV show. Which is kind of cool.
Kind of, I guess.
They tried to make it kind of like an open world almost, because like you have to go to a different area.
There's like a hub.
To enter the scam.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's not.
So, yeah. What I said here is the fact that you can only see items that each character used respectively glow only if you're controlling that character should be considered illegal. That's what I wrote down. Yeah. Because that's ridiculous, dude.
So here's what I'll say. After the introductory level, right, before you start any of the 6 scams, I finished that, and then it told me my game completion was at 10%.
Yeah.
So it was then that I was like, oh, okay, this is a small game.
Yeah.
And it is a small game, but it's so bad that it
takes forever. And the thing is that like I completed the game with 54% completion.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? It's because there's a bunch of collectibles and stuff.
Yeah, you're supposed to go back through, which...
Also, okay, something that I'm just going to say, you cannot save your progress in a scam.
Yes, true.
So if you're in the middle of a scam, and let's say, there's something that's probably the hardest thing you've ever done in a video game up until that point in your life, and it's 10 o'clock at night, you need to go to bed so that you can not in a fun way at all, and you need to go to bed so that you can work in the morning. You just have to leave your PS2 on, turn off your TV and go to bed, and then come back and turn it back on, or start the level all the way over.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Those are your only options.
Which
sometimes getting to that point is the second hardest thing that you've done in video games in your entire life up to that point.
Because it's just so frustrating.
This game, dude.
Yeah.
So, okay. Looks like the end of the first... Oh, yeah. I said they say switch to Ed or switch to Eddy. And if you don't know who the characters are, there's no way that you would know which one to switch to because they all have the same name. And that's cool in the show, but in a game, maybe give me an icon or something.
Yeah.
Like
anything
to help me know what the heck to do. So then I said I went to bed out of sheer frustration. It exhausted me. That was my first day with the game.
Yeah. So let's get into the scams now.
Yeah.
So, I think the first scam was, are you sure? Was that where they're not invited to the party? Was that the first or second scam?
I think it was the second one because the party one you have to go into the sewers. Oh, wait. Is the first level not a scam? I think the first,
I don't, oh, you know what? They'd probably do consider it. But it's like the tutorial, basically.
Yeah.
Except it's really bad as a tutorial. So
as if the rest of the game is good. It's all bad, dude.
Yeah. We'll say just as a tutorial itself.
Yeah.
Despite like, it's
Well, I remember like in the first one, in the first level, you kind of had to like get out of there, and then like you had to, because I wrote down.
Yeah, I think you're right. The first tutorial,
the cut to get into the house is hilarious because you just walk toward a door and then it's just black and then you go inside of a house. It's horrible.
Yeah. So after you finish the tutorial, then you're in the cul-de-sac and you can kind of walk around more, and you're quote unquote introduced to the game. It's like, okay, now you're good.
Yeah.
The second scam is trying to go through the sewers to get to a party that the boys
it's Johnny's
were
birthday
to.
party.
Yeah, and everyone's having fun except for the Ed boys.
Yeah.
And
dude,
there's rats, alligators, clams all over the place that are so hard to see and fight.
Dude, this was the point. Like during this level, was I had to look up and I don't know how you feel about this, but I looked up a walkthrough for this game.
Really?
Did you?
Just on the sewers, man?
Did you look up a walkthrough?
Eventually.
So, what I didn't look up a walkthrough. What I did is I watched a GDQ. Have you heard of a GDQ before? So GDQ is this thing. It's called Games Done Quick. They do it, I think, like once a year. It's like this big convention thing where a bunch of speedrunners get together and live stream this event of them playing a game quick.
Oh my gosh, and they did this game?
They did this game, and during this, and dude, this guy is amazing at this game. Like, watching it, you would have no idea that it's that bad of a game. It's crazy.
Makes it look good.
So I was watching him play it, and kind of just watching him see what he was doing, and then I would try and kind of do that, but then there's some points where he's, like, doing glitches and stuff, so then I had to figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sewers... The funny part is that I was playing through the game and I just did what I thought the game asked me to do. Mm-hmm. And then I kept going throughout the level, and then I got stuck at a point, so then I started watching the GDQ, and the guy was like, you can actually do this crazy glitch right here where you just skip an entire section, and that's what I did.
Oh, really? Without even noticing?
Without even knowing it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
That's pretty cool. Remember how in the
still took you forever.
Remember how in the Tears of the Kingdom episode I said if I can be somewhere that I'm not supposed to be yet?
Yeah.
That's just how I am, man.
Yeah. So after you finish the sewer scam, your game completion is at 19%. So somehow less than having beat the tutorial.
Yeah.
The third scam is you're racing to get to the store because there's a Jawbreaker sale.
What's the part? What's the one with the tractor that you have to like hide behind for to get past Kevin?
Oh man,
I can't remember. And also the part where you had to like knock down all of the trash cans with the basketballs, and it was like timed, and Kevin was there, and
dude. That might have been the third one because the fourth one is the race. Okay. So the third level...
The fourth level is the hardest level in the entire game.
We'll get into that. So the third level... So I'm reading through my notes. Mm-hmm. I wrote, this happened all the time in this game, but... Sometimes you have no idea what to do, and normally the simplest idea is the solution, but it's the most frustrating possible. Yeah. Like there's bees and cages and dogs, and it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense,
dude. The dogs, dude. Don't even get me started on the dogs.
They take like 4 hits to kill. The good thing is that you have an infinite amount of lives. Like, dude, could you imagine if you only had 3 lives in this game and you had to start the level over? I'd lose my mind.
There's no way, dude.
Thank goodness for infinite lives.
For some reason, at the end of the third level, I don't even remember very much from this level, dude. I didn't write down that much.
Is it the part where you have to collect the power cells, or is that the fourth level?
No, I think that's the fourth one.
Dude, I hated the fourth level.
I didn't mind that one. So, for some reason, they end up finding these Jawbreakers, but there's foot powder on them. Yeah. And then Ed eats one, and he literally says in game, he's like, this one tastes like jockage. I thought that was so funny. Yeah. I'm like, why is this in a kid's game, dude? Yeah. So you finish that level because Eddie has an allergic reaction or something. So
you have to like sneak past everybody, which doesn't make any sense either.
No, it doesn't at all. Oh, he's embarrassed by it, I think. Or something.
Yeah, but like, why did they have foot powder on them?
Anyway, so that's the third level.
Yeah, I guess.
So let's get into the fourth level, which was it was an obstacle course So Ralph is
Yeah.
he's an interesting character in the show and the game because he's kind of racially ambiguous.
Yeah.
But
And he also has like a...
he has like a kind of like an Indian accent.
Yeah.
But it's very like rural, kind of like farm boy kind of
And he he has like a goat that he really likes.
So many
stereotypes put into one. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him.
Yeah.
But it's just weird that they did that.
Yeah. And he like calls them weird.
Boy.
Yeah. And boy.
So for some reason you have to earn a merit badge. Did you ever do Scouts? Like Boy Scouts of America?
I didn't.
I hated it, dude.
Yeah.
I think not Wes, but just two of my brothers are like Eagle Scouts. Like they got their Eagle Scout thing. I definitely didn't do.
Yeah.
There was so much pressure too, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So you have to do all this stupid obstacle course for Ralph to give you a merit badge for whatever reason.
And it was
I don't remember.
So hard. Like, so hard because almost all of it was Tower of Ed. And something that we forgot to mention about this game is that as you're moving around, the camera slowly tracks behind you.
Yeah.
But probably like about... Okay, so like if I'm looking at the back of the character and you turn the character to the left, it takes like a good 20 degrees behind your character. I don't. Does that make sense?
It's just
like let's say that there's a clock, right? And so like Ed.
So you're heading at 12.
Yeah, Ed is at 12 and the camera is at 6. Right. Ed starts to move like clockwise. Right. Okay. He moves to 1 o'clock.
Like he's turning a corner.
He's turning a corner. Let's say that he's moving to 1 o'clock. The camera hasn't moved yet. He moves to 2 o'clock. Now the camera starts to pan behind him. So 7. It's slowly
so you can't see anything.
No, you can't see anything. And then the camera controls are tank controls. They're opposite. So you move your camera left to move it right.
There's a setting that you can change that.
I did, and it didn't work.
I tried. Either way, it sucks. It's bad both ways.
Yeah.
It's worse than the other way.
The camera controls were the worst thing possible. And also because this game takes so much precision at times, where you're on the Tower of Ed and you're on these tiny, like really
literally
thin,
a 2x4.
Yeah, like a 2x4. You're walking on this 2x4, and if you slightly and you're using an analog stick, so you're gonna slightly move to one way or another. If you try and correct yourself, then the camera moves behind you, and then you start moving that way, and then you're off.
Yeah,
does that make sense? So like every move that you make just becomes more and more exaggerated because the camera is moving behind you, and you're moving in respect to where the camera is.
I don't know if it was our controller. I kind of think the controller isn't perfect, but I kind of think it's the game. But like,
I tried using the D-pad and it was so much worse.
You can't move in a straight line.
No.
And the thing about being on the Tower of Ed is, Ed is on the bottom, right? Eddy's on the top. Ed's on the bottom.
Double D's in the middle.
Yeah, and it pivots around his left foot.
Yeah.
So instead of him just turning like you would kind of think, it's like it leans, like his left side is heavier, so you have to adjust for that.
Yep. And then if Ed, like God forbid he be holding something, which is the point of it all, he's like exaggerated, like he sways a lot more, and so it messes you up. Yeah. So like, dude, there was this one part where you had to collect these power cells, which doesn't make any sense. What are we powering up? It doesn't even make any sense.
It's just
to open a door.
I think that was the 4th level because I think it.
Yeah.
I think the 4th one was the construction site, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was So then you're having to walk as Ed up this thing, right? Like up this ramp. Really, really small ramp.
Yeah.
Get the thing, then walk back down the ramp.
Yes.
And then,
like 3 times.
I don't know if you knew this, but like at first I didn't know that they were color coordinated.
Oh yeah, me neither.
So then I grabbed it like 5 times.
There's this mysterious machine in the middle of this construction site.
Yeah.
You have to bring power cells to it, but it's the
pipes are a
there's
certain
weird
color.
pipes. There's a certain color. You have to put the power cell in the right.
Yeah, the
pipe.
blue one with the blue one and the red one with the red one.
When you have an item and you're standing where it needs to go, you have to like move around a little because the game, like the hitbox or whatever you would call it, is so imperfect.
And you're not like getting down from Ed and putting it in. You're just dropping it and hoping that it lands in the right place.
And doesn't bounce away and fall off.
Yeah. And so, and like we're explaining this because we understand it. You have to be in the mindset that we have no idea what we're supposed to do. It did not tell, it just says bring the power cells here. It didn't say remember to put the right one with the right color. It doesn't say that. So you're grabbing it. You don't even know what a cell looks like. No. So first you have to find it, and then the fact that it's green means nothing to you because you've never seen a power cell before.
Yeah. You're like, of course it's green. It's a power cell.
And then you go to the next one, you're like, oh, I guess this one is red. How dumb of me.
You only get there once you figured out how to deposit the green one.
First one.
I don't even know how. I stumbled upon the right spot.
I had to look up a walkthrough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So then once you get through the whole level,
sucks.
The last thing you have to do
is a race
with Kevin where you are Batter Ed, and so you're going full speed.
Yeah, there's no guardrails.
It's like Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
Except it's quicker and the controls are way worse and the graphics are terrible.
Yeah. So imagine it's Rainbow Road, 200cc.
I want you to just rant about this because you had a harder time than I did.
Okay. So first of all, you're in Batter Ed, and Batter Ed goes a lot faster if you're holding the analog stick forward. Okay. Which makes it harder to control.
Yep.
And basically just harder to control, but it goes a lot faster. Okay, so
and their arms are flailing.
Yeah,
so it's chaotic.
I didn't know this. Okay, so I did this race not knowing that holding the analog stick forward made him go faster. So he was going not fast enough.
Smoked every time.
Every single time, because Kevin is on a bike and he's racing past you, and he's on a trajectory. He's never going to fall off. He's on a perfect trajectory.
Right.
And you are flailing around. And remember, the camera's moving behind you still. So if you slightly go to the right and you're going that fast, your camera then goes behind you and you flail off.
You just have to guess. You just have to guess where the road.
There were so many times when, like, on the road, like, I don't even know how to describe how hard it is.
It's not even a road. It's
a bunch of like planks and doors all
laid out into a path.
And
there's
it's so
parts
long.
of it that are missing, so you have to go around the hole, right?
Yeah.
Through it.
Yep. And there's like barrels that are there that if you hit them, they slightly take you off course and
bump you off the edge.
Yep. And then there's like parts where the hole that you're gonna fall through is like right at the end of a hill. So you're coming down the hill and you can't see it, so then you fall through. You literally just
have to play it enough that you learn.
That you memorize it.
Yeah.
You literally memorize it. I did it 36 times. Really? Before I beat it. I counted it. It took me 36 times of doing it. And
no one should have to do that.
I know. And then every time after you fall off, you hear Kevin go, ha ha, Lou. And then there's a cutscene, and I can't remember what he says, but he's like, nice try. You think you can take me on a race? And then you skip it. Then you have to really quickly switch over to Ed because you're in Eddy all the time.
Because it restarts.
It resets. So you have to switch over to Ed, do your Batter Ed, right? Which, like, I got that down, dude. Yeah. Because you have to, like, hit all these different shoulder buttons.
He's already taken off on the bike.
Oh, yeah. So then you do that. Then you have to race forward, and then starts going. And then, and then also at the end of the cutscene, when you start, he goes, Zer, because he said loser, but it got cut. Yeah, it got interrupted.
Every time you die, you hear everyone laugh at you, and Kevin says,
loser. Yeah, which is funny, I guess.
Yeah, but it's just...
But yeah, dude, in all caps, I just wrote 36 tries. Oh my god, 36 tries. I cannot believe that race. Like, dude, and Sarah was sitting there with me the whole time.
You've spent less time on games that you've loved.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, of course I have. And that race, like, there was a time when I was like, I might have to come and record the podcast with the game unfinished. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat this race.
Well, you also didn't finish Halo Reach, but that doesn't matter anymore. Right now we're focused on Ed and Eddy.
And, dude,
you were at the point of desperation.
Yeah. Imagine Rainbow Road, 200cc. It's slippery. The camera sucks. The controls suck.
Your controller doesn't really work.
Yeah, there's no rules. The floor there's no rules. The floor is falling out from underneath you with no like.
Yeah, and it's a 1v1, and your opponent can't make a mistake.
Yeah. And you're supposed to win.
Yep.
And there are shortcuts that don't make any sense. If you start going the wrong direction, it doesn't tell you. Did you ever do that? Because I fell off once and landed on the path, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then I started going, and then I went back to the beginning of the race.
Oh my gosh!
So I was like, "Guess I got to restart, walk off the edge."
Dude, that is.
It was abysmal, dude. It brought me to a low point.
Yeah.
And dude, I haven't told you this at all. So with this game, I had this thing going.
This is only the 4th scam, by the way.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody like cares or knows this or whatever.
Think so.
I love Rubik's cubes. Mm-hmm. So what I did was during my time with this game, I took all the Rubik's cubes that I own, which is a lot of them, and I scrambled them all up.
Okay.
By threes. I have a lot of different kinds of puzzles.
Yeah,
a lot
you got
of them.
A plethora.
Yeah. So here's a picture of all the ones that I have, all scrambled up on my floor. Okay. And when I would play and I would get frustrated, I'd pick up a puzzle and start solving it, cool off a little bit, solve it, put it to the side. Then I would start playing again.
Okay.
That was my thing. And then by the time that I beat it, I have a picture of all of them solved.
All of them solved.
Yep. It took me quite a long time.
You learned a lot of patience.
Yeah. This game
For no reason though.
Yeah, no. The next level is Nightmare on Ed Street.
Yeah.
This one was actually fine.
The haunted house. So I'll say this. I
the
think
very
all
end
of
with
these...
the clock swinging and you had to like go and grab things on the Tower of Ed.
Oh yeah. So all of these are based off of iconic episodes from the series. Like there's a construction site. Yeah. And these areas actually exist in the Ed and Eddy world, which is cool. But like there's a haunted house episode. Mm-hmm. Anyway, haunted house... this was where I had to look up a walkthrough, I think, because you go into different areas of the house to get. Okay, so this one,
I had to have a walkthrough. This one. It was so confusing.
Sisters,
yeah,
right?
it's the Kanker sisters.
So the Kanker sisters trap you three in this haunted house, and you have to go to different areas of the house to collect something to give to the Kanker sisters.
Which it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make. None of them tell you what they want.
No. But there's just a thing you have to find.
And you don't know what it looks like. It's just like, get the book for this Kanker sister. You're like, okay, guess I gotta find where the library... Yeah,
you just have to find the right one.
Oh, yeah, you just gotta find the right one.
You can't pick up any of them.
No.
The reason I had to look up a walkthrough was because I think on like the 2nd or 3rd area, you just go down this hall and it's a dead end. And there's nothing...
But there's a hole that you can jump through.
There's a hole that you have to climb up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's one of
we didn't talk about Double D's
abilities
too. Yeah. Trample Ed. No. Is that what it's called?
I don't
Trample
know.
Ed?
Trampoline Ed or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So the other two Eds throw him, and he can jump onto higher ledges.
Yeah, but you don't know how high.
No, and it also... Dude, I don't know if it's because I took a break from this game between the 4th and the 5th level, but like... So, this was the most frustrating part of this whole level, was Ed having to jump on the stuff. Because, like, when you actually jump as a character, you press X to jump. But when you're in his special ability, that just makes him go, like, higher, and it doesn't actually do anything.
I didn't know that was even a thing. And so, during the part where you had to break the piñatas, I kept pressing circle, and it wouldn't work. And I looked up a playthrough, and it was like, yeah, you just gotta jump and do this thing. And I'm like, why can't I do this thing? So then I finally was just mashing buttons, and then I figured it out, and I was like, okay, I guess that works.
So frustrating.
Yeah.
Somehow, anyway.
Sorry if you can hear some crinkling. This game is made to eat.
Yeah, you're fine.
I have a little Snickers here.
Also, when you have to get up onto like bookshelves and stuff in the haunted house, if he doesn't land perfectly on it, he can just fall right off. So frustrating, dude. There was this one glitch where like the three of us got separated, and I was on the right side of the door, and I had to get up to get the thing for the Kanker sisters, and they just glitched through the door, luckily, because I used my ability and they showed up, but like I couldn't do that again anyway. But the haunted house wasn't really that bad. The worst part, I think, other than just learning how his ability works by the time I'm almost done with the game, is what you mentioned at the end. The last thing you have to do is like, you're in this tower, and there's this pendulum swinging, and you have to time it as you're walking on the 2x4s, which is, I think that was the most frustrating part of the game for me overall, was trying to walk across the beams in
that
the tower
and the race.
Yeah, the race was definitely bad, but anyway, you have to walk to the central area, dodging these pendulums, and then go out.
And their hitbox is huge.
Yes, yeah. Go out, grab something, bring it back. Walking along a beam, dodging the pendulum. It's so freaking hard, dude. But you finally get all 3 of the gifts to the Kanger sisters, and then it takes you straight into the final mission, which is like a boss fight.
No, there's one more between then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's one where, because I remember you have to like go through the swamp or something, and I remember, I don't think that it's the same level, and you have to use Tower of Ed on those same 2x4s, but then in between the 2x4s there are these.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like there are these platforms that have mud on them, which is basically like ice in Mario. So you're in your Tower of Ed. Right. And you're sliding on these platforms, and there's tires on like tire swings, swinging back and forth with the same hitbox as a pendulum.
Haunted house, and then you go into the 6th game, right? But it like the Kanger sisters.
Is that the 5th scam?
The haunted house is.
Oh.
But I think you're right. The 6th game is the swamp. I for some reason didn't take notes about that, but that was the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah.
Because first of all...
Oh, no, you know what it is? Sorry. You go to the trailer park. Mm-hmm. You're going through the trailer park, and then you finally get into, like, one of the Kankers' house to, like, steal something from them, but then they're all there, and then you go into their, like, underground basement lair.
Oh, yeah, and it turns into a boss fight.
Yeah.
But to get there... Yeah. Like, leading up to that,
you have to, like, get
same scam.
A jawbreaker for Johnny, but it's actually a spider egg.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I don't even... All I know is that, like, this was way more frustrating than the race for me.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to walk along these planks that you can't, and there's mud sliding you around once you get off of it, just sliding you off the edge. Uh-huh. But there's so many different directions you can go. It doesn't tell you which one you have to go.
Yep.
And
I was so happy to have read the walkthrough on it, because they were like, just take the right path.
Oh.
The one that takes you all the way to the right.
So I went forward instead of to the right. So I went all the way through that, which is almost just as frustrating.
Yeah.
This whole series of things you have to knock over and walk along. And I got there and there was nothing to do. So I was like, oh, so I guess I went the wrong direction. I have to go all the way back. I had to do that other part, which is way harder.
Yeah.
And then I have to come back and do that again.
Yeah. And then once you get to the place where you have the thing, you get the spider egg, right? I guess. You have to go back.
All the way back through.
All the way back through everything that you went through, dude. That was tough.
Dude, what made it worse was Madeline had a friend over, and I was like, I'm almost done. I just want to beat this game.
Yeah.
And they were waiting to use the TV.
That was so much of it, dude. Because I couldn't play it on like my TV that I have over to the side. I had to play it on the big TV. And there was so many times where I would like start a scam, and then, you know, like I'm not just gonna be like, sorry, Sarah, you don't get to use this TV that we have in our house. So then I would start a scam and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. Then I'd just like turn it off and then just start again the next day, because you can't save.
Yes,
dude. There's no checkpoints. Oh my god.
So, well, there's checkpoints. Like
in the level.
Yeah.
But if you get out of the level, you don't start there.
No. So so there's no checkpoints. So it took me so long to finish the boss fight. We can get into that, but that wasn't even that bad.
No,
it was leading up to it. That was the worst. That was my worst moment.
With like the tunnel, and they're chasing after you, and you have to like do certain specific tasks with like the timer going down.
I didn't mind that one.
What's with the chicken?
Yeah, every once in a while you'll come across a chicken. It's like, chicken!
Yeah.
And you have to chase it down and beat it and take it.
Yeah.
And then you win,
you get
or
an
you
egg.
Just give up.
Yeah, I gave up on
It's like, chicken!
Yeah.
It seriously just alerts you, and it takes you into like a mini game.
Does Ed have a thing with chickens?
I guess so, dude. I think so. I think he has a thing with everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, walking in the swamp on the planks, that was my low.
Yeah.
Moment, dude. That was where I just, that was the worst.
Yeah, after doing 36 tries of the race, I started doing that thing, and I was like, you know what? It's not that bad.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. So, in the haunted house, you actually, like, learn the Kinker sisters' names, because I never did.
I don't know.
Lee is the redhead one with really curly hair.
Uh-huh.
I didn't write down who they are, like, in love with or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's 3 and 3, right?
Uh-huh.
They each have their thing. You never see Lee's eyes. Oh, she's like the leader, so she probably likes Eddy.
Uh-huh.
Marie, I think.
I think the blue-haired girl likes Double D, and then the blonde.
Yeah. And the blonde one is like kind of barnyard.
Mm-hmm.
And the blue hair girl is kind of like
emo goth sort of thing.
So
yeah.
That doesn't matter. Anyway, this game, dude.
So do you remember how it ends?
So
you like, I remember the boss fight.
Yeah, let's talk about the boss fight. So go into the boss fight.
So you I don't even understand it. But basically there's like, the Cankers are up on top of a pyre of trash, basically.
Uh-huh.
No. And, and they have a bunch of jawbreakers that
they stole from
you, I guess.
I guess you had jawbreakers.
Yeah, the whole time. So that's great. But yeah, so the jawbreakers are up there. You're trying to get the jawbreakers back. They're up on this pyre, so you're trying to like break them down. Okay, so what you need to do is they're surrounded by a pool of water that's like electrically charged.
Like a moat.
Yeah. So you need to use Ed to pick up a trash barrel, like an oil drum, throw it at the thing that's causing the tower to be electric, or the water to be electric.
Yeah.
And then use Batter Ed to run and hit the wooden post.
Oh, to slowly start to break
down the tower that they're on.
But
it doesn't explain any of this to you.
The whole time there's a million squirrels.
Squirrels, dude.
And
The
they're
squirrels
latching
are
onto you
worst.
and stopping you, and they respawn immediately.
Yep. Now here's the thing though, like, I'm glad that they were there, because there were times when my health would get really low, because what the Cankers do is they blow kisses at you.
They're shooting you with stuff.
Yeah.
So they're kisses?
Yeah, they're blowing kisses at you.
And it hurts.
Yeah, they hurt. So they're blowing kisses at you, and you're trying to like avoid the kisses, but like they hit you.
Yeah, they kind of track you down.
Mm-hmm. And if you die, you have to start the whole thing over. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't die once during the boss fight. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is I would go around and farm the squirrels for HP.
Yeah, because we forgot to mention this, but when you do lose health throughout the game.
Yeah.
When you kill a squirrel or any
their
creature,
life source, I guess.
It's just like orbs explode out of them.
Yeah.
And also it's so hard to collect the orbs, because like you have to stand on it and like be in the exact perfect pixel to pick it up.
Or you just wait long enough for them to come to you.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah, they do that.
It's the same with coins. You collect coins throughout the game.
And what are the coins even for?
When you break a thing, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what are they for?
Anyway, so eventually you beat the
Cankers, and then what's the end of the game? Do you remember what the cutscene is? I'm pretty sure that they just like force you to get married to them anyway, and then the game's over.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Dude. And at the end of it, I wasn't even like, what? That's the ending? I was just like, okay, good. It's over.
Yeah, it's over, dude.
Like, I would expect nothing more.
And that says game completion 54%.
Yep.
And
you never pick the game up again.
No.
God, dude, this game sucks.
Just I love Eddy and Eddy so much.
Good.
And I still do. But this was such a money grab trash game.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, because there's someone out there named Donnie who was so excited when he heard us that I got this game in the What's in the Box episode, because he was like, I played that and it's cool because he made it sound cool, because like the premise is cool. Oh, you're each.
Yeah, but he played it when he was 8 years old.
Yeah. But the premise does sound cool. It's like you're going through these scams to get jawbreakers, of course.
Yeah.
And each character has their own abilities. You're using them together.
You get to walk through the cul-de-sac and talk to all the characters.
And it does. The premise sounds cool as an Eddy and Eddy fan.
Yeah.
But they could not have made it worse.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, I will say that I had this game paused for so long, and the pause music is just the intro music to, like, for the show.
Yeah.
Like the.
Yeah, so good.
It's good. It's good, but it made me not like it anymore because I heard it so many times. Dude. And so then like I was whistling it, and then we'd both do like the and Eddie. You know, we were just doing it like all the time.
You're good at that, man.
Well, thanks.
You heard it 100,000 times.
Heard it so many times, dude. Because like the only way to stop playing the game is just to put it on pause. You can't do anything else.
You can't save, man.
Anyway, here's what I recommend.
Okay.
Go on YouTube, look up Ed and Eddy, the Mis-Edventures games done quick. You'll see somebody speedrun the game.
If you're a fan of Ed and Eddy and care about the game at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's really interesting to see how the game looks.
Yeah.
How it, like,
How
and this
bad it
guy,
looks.
he does a great job playing the game, so you don't have to go through any of the stuff that we went through. You can just see what the game is like and be like, oh, that's cool. Because I had a really fun time watching somebody play the game. I had a horrible time playing the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Game felt horrible to play.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So, what would you rate this game out of 5 stars?
I don't. I can't.
We're not going to write a review.
I need to be done with this game.
Okay.
This episode.
Are we done?
I'm sorry, everyone. That's the game.
Yeah.
We've ranted about it long enough.
Leave a review.
Exhausted, disappointed.
Thank you for listening.
I love Ed and Eddy.
I love you.
I hate the Mis-Edventures.
We love you so much.
And I am excited to play the next Ed and Eddy.
You're the best.
Kibo, take us out.
Hey, free game, talking gaming day and night. This the show that you've been missing, guaranteed to get you hyped. Up, down, left, start, better charge up your controller. The show is taking over, with Justin and with Holden. Hey, phase 10, Halo Reach, Magic the Gathering. Plenty games we talking, cause that's what we got a passion in. Hey, restart, run it back, let's play like we in the arcade. Homie, this is free game, let's go.